Ahora toca el 4. Bien, ¿ahora qué? ¿Ahora qué? Pero yo Halo yo no lo conocía. Yo no compré, cuando fuimos a comprar el Xbox no conocimos Halo.
Like at some point it wasn't about making Halo perfect. Honestly, we were just focused on how do we get this thing on disc in time for launch.
There was an incredible pressure on Halo.
This is our lead title, and this is what we've got. If this thing fails, it would all be for nothing. Xbox was finished.
There's a new contender in the video game wars.
Xbox is going to be the future. Truly the future of video games.
Xbox.
Taking over the living room.
Limitless, connected digital entertainment.
You guys never understood.
The company is going to face fierce competition.
Sniper!
It's a ticking time bomb.
Makes me very nervous to actually play this for you.
Xbox getting a major overhaul.
La demo de Halo 2 fue espectacular lo que causó Halo 2. La demo fue un engaño porque no fue, el juego no fue gráficamente así y después no estaba esa demo, pero joder, qué pasada de demostración, tío.
Soon you will be food.
6 meses antes del lanzamiento de Halo y la Xbox.
We were doing the thing that people weren't quite sure would even work on a console, a first-person shooter, and the
un FPS en consola.
All of a sudden we were in a new area, console games, and what do we know about console games?
I had only heard things about.
Alégrame el día. Estás de coña. Espera. ¿Dice eso en el juego original? ¿Ese diálogo los élites lo dicen? ¿En serio? Me acabo de enterar. Si lo dicen, me acabo de enterar.
Studio may be a fine studio, but the game wasn't really being received that well.
We're gonna make it, aren't we, sir?
Sí, tranquilo.
Halo and Xbox's fates intertwined. Something drastic had to be done.
Spoiler, es el final.
So, in a last-ditch effort,
eso es spoiler.
Freeze and Bungie essentially put the development team under arrest.
Ed Freeze had put Halo behind the curtain and won't let anybody see it. Won't let anybody talk to the Bungie team.
He's like, you guys seal yourself off, literally and metaphorically, and deliver a great game. Like our doors, I don't even think Ed could get into some of the Bungie doors.
I kept saying, hey, Ed, when can I play Halo? And he goes, well, not yet.
When we only had a couple more months before we had to get this thing into boxes.
Good to see you, Master Chief. Things aren't going well.
We had to stand up a complete game that was performant on new hardware. We had to create a compelling story with characters. We had to cut levels, take
Pero eso es Halo 2, eso no es 1. Eso no es Halo 1.
Of long days, sleeping under desks, full-on old-school crunch to get this game done.
There it is.
The one positive thing that comes out of crunch is
Hostia,
ideation and invention and polish.
Creo que este es el encargado de la
One
franquicia.
of the things that Bungie took very, very seriously was polish.
For us at Bungie, this was a passionate effort to make the best game possible. But when you show up as Microsoft, you are open to a whole different level of criticism.
Yeah, that's cool. All right.
And Halo had the burden of showing up excellent in all ways.
Oh.
We had no idea Halo was going to be a hit. We hoped people would like it.
Here we go.
Ya solo el principio, tío, no me jodas. Ya solo la banda sonora del menú ya.
Rubber hits the road when you meet the gamer for real.
Eso ya, vamos.
Halo? Halo.
I remember very vividly going to local launch events.
Hold it up!
Starting to look at chatter online with fan sites, and then game reviews, and then comments, and realizing, oh my god, people like it.
How the hell are we gonna beat this game?
Halo, which had problems entering the fray, came out on day one, and it was amazing. It was really amazing.
I just felt that sense of possibility.
Damn it, Jenkins! Fire your weapon!
anywhere and do anything on this beautiful
Qué pasada
lush
esa parte,
planet
es
filled
que
with things that were trying to kill you. They just did it so well. The controls felt natural. You could tell like that it was going to be a breakthrough for first-person shooters.
I didn't care that I wasn't using a mouse. I was using a controller. I was in the Halo universe, and it was fantastic.
It was a bit of an epiphany of, oh, like you can do that? Like you can play this kind of game on a console? Awesome.
Halo was a phenomenon. That dual player mode was wow.
Landing on the beach with a warthog trying to protect Marines with Master Chief. It just blew me away, man.
Banshee on flames comes down and lands on the ice and is skidding towards me across the ice, and it's gonna run me over and kill me.
Molaba, y hacer eso era espectacular, tío, molaba muchísimo. Que un Banshee te fuese a por ti y lo reventaba, estaba brutal, era súper épico, tío.
Microsoft had that platform defining title that you had to go out and buy an Xbox if you wanted to play, and that was something that I always envied and admired.
Halo forms so much of the backbone of, I think, what Xbox is.
Watching the feedback we were getting on Halo, the stories people were telling, it was a cultural moment.
You getting Halo? Oh yeah. Good. Just checking.
Without Halo, we're not here.
Halo, combat evolved.
Microsoft estimated that they have sold 1 million copies of Halo in the US alone. 50% of Xbox owners are also Halo players.
Xbox was the Halo box. That's what made it work.
Halo broke ground in so many ways, in game control, camera control, storytelling, even art style. It inspired a lot of people to tell a different kind of story.
It changed the game for Xbox, but I also think it changed the way we look at first-person shooters.
First-person shooters had only really largely existed at scale on PC, and mapping those controls to the controller, they just did it right. It just felt right.
No one had done it that well before. No one had nailed it. They just nailed the controls.
So before Halo came out, the conventional wisdom was if you wanted to play a shooter, you had to do it
Sí,
on
porque lo más esto era el GoldenEye, por ejemplo, el GoldenEye, y no tiene nada que ver el control de los GoldenEye con Halo, no tiene nada que ver, fue un antes y un después.
What
Fue un antes y un
did
después.
with the help of Microsoft's playtesting and user research labs was figure out how to get something that would approximate that feeling on a console where all you have is the two sticks to move and aim. They weren't the first to do a shooter on the console, but they did it best by far. And the influence of what Microsoft and Bungie were able to achieve is still being felt in games today.
Por supuesto.
Even today,
Of
it's the
course,
largest genre in console gaming. And really, because of Halo, Xbox became the console for first-person shooter fans.
Totalmente, cosa que continuó en 360.
Transcendent. It was just something that you didn't experience on any other platform.
Microsoft made a huge bet on broadband. Every single Xbox had an Ethernet port in the back.
Este es de IGN, o era de IGN. Creo que es de IGN.
Parties and to System Link on a LAN.
Yo esto es algo que yo no jugué no usé el LAN. Sí jugué en local contra 4, pero a pantalla partida en local. O sea, no en LAN.
And it's a fun experience. You can all be in a shared virtual world and run around and do things that you couldn't through a modem just because you're all there connected and it's higher speed. Microsoft ushered that in for consoles.
Manually plugging machines together to play games was not a new concept, but it had always required a lot of technical know-how. Now, the communal gaming experience wasn't just for computer geeks. It was for everyone.
Right now, we have this game going here, which is 16. Downstairs, I was just down there. They probably by now have at least a 16 game going on. They keep on bringing in more stuff, and it seems to be expanding.
It was a communal party multiplayer atmosphere that you could have with a massive group of people and have multiple consoles all connected.
We'd get together at like 8 a.m. and play 16-player Halo all the way till 8 a.m. the next day.
I remember running an Ethernet cable up the stairs so I could have a friend bring his over and play.
I'd go to my buddy's house, And we're on 2 different floors. We're in 4 different rooms because screen looking's a thing.
Man, the fights were legendary. You looked at my screen. No, I didn't. Yes, you did.
I can't see your screen.
We'd make a little flyer at work, like Halo LAN party this Saturday. Bring an Xbox, bring a controller, bring a TV. That changed everything about my social life for probably 10 years.
And these, by the way, weren't small TVs. These were the big cathode ray TVs that you had to find a way to be able to use.
I had a heavy-ass TV. Flat screen.
Pensaba lo que... Pues claro.
So I bought a PT Cruiser just so I could get my TV
Eran televisiones grandes y monitores de tubo y...
To have an Xbox in the car back in the days with that big screen.
Give me a second. Your foot.
I know that's a foot. Ouch.
I remember playing nonstop and sitting there in my own puddle of sweat.
The minute you stepped into a multiplayer match on Halo, time just disappeared. You just got sucked in, and we would play all night long.
It provided me an experience I had never had on a console before, period.
Halo was a runaway hit that had spawned its own social scene, putting Microsoft in the big leagues with Sony and Nintendo for the first time. But the team wasn't done. They saw a way to take those multi-room raucous LAN parties and make them global.
Sniper! The initial concept for Xbox Live was one of those magical ideas. So it gets to go in a special folder that I call epic pitches, because they're pitches that, even though they were in their infancy, they planted a seed of ideas that turned into something that had an impact on the entire industry. Maybe an impact on global culture.
We built an Ethernet port in every unit, and the idea is now we can actually have a networked community of gamers from living room to living room around the world, no matter what language you speak, no matter where you are in the world, and we can all be part of one bigger community. And that vision was like awesome.
Yeah! There definitely was some skepticism about the idea of playing multiplayer games over the internet.
When we were scrambling to get Xbox done, Xbox Live is like a vague fog in everybody's head. Nobody knew how that was going to work and whether it was going to be a good ecosystem and whether the quality would ever be there. And it became a huge point of tension in terms of how
Pues funcionó. Yo lo jugué de lanzamiento, hice... Sí.
Microsoft is putting literally billions of dollars on the line to back us, but the program was fraught with risk. It required technology that really hadn't been
requería de una
built
tecnología
anywhere
que
in
en
the
realidad no se
industry.
había construido.
And those kind of tech investments are always risky.
With so much riding on the success of Xbox Live, the team couldn't afford to develop it in a corporate vacuum. If they wanted to deliver a gaming experience unlike any other, they needed gamers to tell
Yo jugué
them
mucho una demo de
exactly what
Xbox,
they wanted.
por Xbox Live a la demo de MotoGP, una demo, sin más. Fue lo que más jugué. Bueno, un Real Championship. Un Real Championship.
Nobody wanted to sit there and text with a typewriter, just taking out their buddies.
First thing was you had to get this starter kit. It had a headset in it. It's like...
You were talking about console gaming. What are you supposed to do with a headset?
The Xbox Communicator. It lets you talk to other gamers while you're playing.
This broke down the barriers of how you could speak. You simply banged on your headset and you could talk to anybody in the world that was on the platform.
Your defense is offensive. Your defense is offensive.
Building that global couch where people can talk and kind of virtually elbow each other with 4 gamers on 4 continents and have it all perfectly fluid through headsets, just as if they were sitting in the same room together. This was before Skype. So the notion of low latency, great quality voice, we had to go build out that tech.
I like this one. You did your own digital personal ID, remembers your moves. That's a good idea.
Yeah. We're creating this giant gaming universe for gamers to play in over generations. We knew it was important to have this one identity that linked to you, where you could build your legacy in gaming.
Your gamer tag. It's your identity on Xbox
Dark
Live.
Master.
The legend you build for yourself in this brand new gaming universe. Remember, you're building all your stats and friends in that name.
Rather than have a gamer tag for Madden, a separate gamer tag for Halo.
Un mismo gamer tag para todo.
One thing.
My gamer tag is the real B.
My gamer tag is Cowboy22.
A gamer tag is hero protagonist.
It's King Doug.
The Spaceman.
Xbox Live wanted to bring that fundamental instant fun into the world of online gaming.
You will never be without a game to play, anytime, day or night.
It was a revolution in online gaming.
Ese chico ha salido de mayor, ¿no verdad? El chico no ha salido de mayor, ¿verdad?
They had the technical know-how to build Xbox Live. But on the other side of that challenge was another, even bigger question. If they built it, would gamers pay for it?
The technology was in the box, but the commitment from a player, we just didn't know how it was going to fly. That firstly, someone's going to pay $50 a month for broadband, but they also have to go tell their friends that it's worth it.
El online de pago,
To share my opinion. And there was one time where I was talking to Jay, and we ended up arguing about it all the way into the hallway. And it was me saying, this Xbox Live idea you have is the dumbest idea I've ever heard. Like, I hate this idea. Somebody's going to pay $50 for multiplayer games when they can get it for free.
And people did laugh at that and said, why would you pay for access? Because you're already paying for your game.
It wasn't just me. It was like an entire division worth of people saying, what are you, nuts?
So this experience had to be amazing. That was crazy to people. Like, who's going to play multiplayer if they have to pay for it?
Sí, una experiencia que ni siquiera se conseguía, que tampoco estaba en PC. O era...
Future of video games arrives today. Microsoft is putting the Xbox online. Today, the Xbox goes live. Manning is at his home in Indianapolis, Hasselbeck at his in Seattle, and they're about to play each other in a video game using the Microsoft Xbox console.
Oh, sit down. Son, don't your coaches tell you can't take a sack in the red zone? That is quarterback 101.
Last night, we had gamers all over the country playing against celebrities here in LA, where we had our big premiere party.
We're checking the perimeter.
Supongo que esto sería una experiencia que como muchos en PC sería común en cibercafés, que era lo más común en PC.
November 15th, 2002. The launch of Xbox Live was almost like a second launch for Xbox.
Blow up and kill everything in sight. Is that what you're getting? That's the idea, man. It's just like doing RoboCop.
I'm gonna open up a can of whoop ass and see how it tastes.
The two launch titles that I have such fond memories of, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, which was a port of the PC game, and Mech Assault, which is a third-person action-oriented take on Mech Warrior.
Just the light bulbs went off, just the magic was there.
Live let us add the element of community and human society to game design.
It was just immediately clear to me that this was going to be like the thing for video games.
What Live did for Xbox was it created this community that once you got into it and attached to it, it was very hard to leave.
I met so many people online playing games that I never would have been cool with based off of us playing each other, me beating him beating me, him having
Tenemos a este era Snoop Dogg.
Snoop Dogg. Like 50-year-old males that play Xbox Live together. And they will not go to another system because their buddies aren't going to go. So they're only going to buy a system to hang out with the guys so they can play while the kids are sleeping and they're going to play Call of Duty or something, right?
Every night, me and my homies be on a party with about 15 or 20 of us, and we be talking.
Dios, 15 o 20 personas. Dios, pero si yo entro en un grupo de 5 o 6 personas y ya me vuelvo loco.
We had forecasted how many Xbox Live subscribers we were going to have, you know, month 1, month 2, month 6, etc.
Hey, we got 50,000. Hey, we got 100,000. Hey, we got 1 million. Hey, we got 2 million. It just kept growing.
And that happened like I wouldn't say instantly, but pretty damn close. It happened very, very fast.
Xbox Live was unprecedented. Everybody else's version paled in comparison.
What you think of gaming today, being on a headset, talking with friends, playing games, that just seems commonplace now because it is commonplace now, but Xbox made that possible in a big way.
Xbox Live could be considered one of the very first social media platforms.
Before Facebook, even before MySpace, Microsoft really did pioneer the very first interactive, dynamic social platform.
Quite frankly, Microsoft.
Sí, se puede entender que sí, se puede decir que sí. Sí, se podría decir que sí, supongo.
Gamers flocked to Xbox Live in numbers that even took optimists within Microsoft by surprise. But while the platform was teeming with newly devoted fans who loved sniping their college buddies from different continents, there was one consistent complaint. What happened to the game that put Xbox on the map?
Con el juego que puso.
Where was Halo.
When we started working on the second Halo game,
Halo 2.
the weight of expectation came crashing down on us.
En que hubiera un multijugador.
Blockbuster movie, and that was always a danger. Is what if we just push to do this big AAA spectacle and miss the heart of what made Halo's success in the first place?
God damn, we have a lot of work to do between now and E3.
Ella tiene una camiseta de Oni, chulísimo el Oni.
Had a different idea
Muy
about
chulo
what
el juego.
being more excellent would be. We loved that you could get into vehicles, for example, but it frustrated us that you couldn't like tear someone out of a vehicle.
Esta es la demo que hubo, que después la demo no estuvo en el juego.
Became a huge design initiative. We were really good at coming up with great ideas. We weren't quite as good at production discipline and figuring out how to right size all those ideas, fit them into a box, timeline, and ship on time.
When I got there, they had reached a point in development where they were basically going to have to cut half the game and in some ways start from scratch on a lot of the promises that they'd made themselves.
Within a year, it became clear it wasn't working. Just the way the game felt, Jason really wasn't happy with. He looked at the game. And he came to me and said, you know, we have a problem. I'm going to have to rework a bunch of the work, and it's effectively going to add another year to the schedule.
Jason, help. There was a lot of pressure. How could we ship a better game than Halo? And from Microsoft's point of view, Xbox's point of view,
aparte de la historia,
how
claro.
can you ship that game as quickly as possible?
This is now by far the most valuable franchise that we have. You know, this is Halo. We can't screw this up. Jason's saying he needs a new year. Time for me to step up and do my job as a boss.
I do know that Ed went to bat for us.
Ed was very much a purist. He was about creating great games and giving the dev teams the time they need. And that is at conflict sometimes with actually making a profit.
So to me it was a no-brainer, but Robbie wanted to put it in front of the other leads on the team because Halo was so important. It's going to affect, you know, the Xbox Live team and what they do. It would affect the continued marketing of the platform and things like that.
Microsoft back then was a technology company. Software shipping on time at quality was a big part of the rhythm of the business.
So we go in and we have the meeting and Robbie basically goes around the room and takes a vote. And it went around the room and everybody voted to keep it on the original schedule. I walked out of the room and basically I just threatened to quit immediately. Robbie gave in, calmed me down, and he agreed, and he gave us the extra year.
Nos dio un año más para Halo 2.
Ed got the Bungie team the time they needed to finish the game, but the delayed launch had a ripple effect throughout Microsoft.
Really, that Bungie meeting was the beginning of the end.
Fíjate, este tipo de cosas, en esos momentos no nos enterábamos. No nos enterábamos porque no se daban fechas, era mucho más difícil dar fechas. Pero claro, aquí acaban de decir que Halo 2 se retrasó un año. Para su fecha pensada, para la fecha prevista de lanzamiento, lo retrasaron un año. Ahora mismo, porque como claro, ahora mismo nos enteramos de todo, se anuncia todo prematuramente y es que nos enteramos absolutamente de todo. Antes, como no había comunicación, era muy difícil la comunicación, pues no nos enteramos de cuántas veces se retrasa un juego. Se retrasaba. Eso no quita que se equivoquen ahora al anunciar muchas veces de forma prematura, claro.
In January 2004, Ed Freeze resigned from Microsoft, while Bungie set out to finish what they'd started, creating a sequel to one of the most popular titles in console history. The extra year Freeze bought them turned out to make all the difference. Not only did it elevate the game, it built fan excitement to a whole new level.
The lead up to Halo 2, I had never experienced anything like
that.
Halo
2 fue
una locura. It was genuinely a pop culture event, and I don't say that lightly.
7,000 stores are opening on midnight.
They've been waiting a long time for this.
They were chanting Halo 2.
Halo 2!
Just felt like something new was going to happen in entertainment.
Because Halo 2 is the best! Halo 2 is everything!
Xbox's Halo 2 is expected to generate more revenue in 24 hours
than day one sales of any full-feature movie in entertainment history.
Halo 2 is probably, you know, one of the biggest phenomenons to ever hit my life. And
creo que lo que se generó alrededor de Halo 2 fue mayor que lo que hubo alrededor de Halo 3. Creo. Si no fueron muy similares, lo que hubo alrededor de Halo 2 fue algo brutalísimo.
It was a coming-of-age story for the video game industry.
This game is simply the best game on the planet.
I played Halo 2 with my friends literally every night for at least a year. That's how transformative Halo 2 was for me, and what it did for Xbox Live. There had been nothing like that ever.
With the innovative success of Xbox Live and a full-blown cultural phenomenon in Halo 2, it seemed like Microsoft's bets were paying off. Xbox was even surpassing Nintendo in US sales. On a winning streak, the team put their eyes on an industry-changing
superó incluso a Nintendo en Estados
follow-up to the
Unidos.
When I arrived at Microsoft, it was my job to think about the way that the gamer was going to be using this 2, 3, 4 years after launch, and how do you continue to deliver content. We started then to plan this multi-billion-dollar investment that became
360.
the Xbox 360.
Xbox 360 is the new entertainment system that's designed around high def, wireless, and always connected. And it doesn't stop there. It's
Always connected,
so you can change the way it works.
Always connected. Un término, ese término, fue algo con lo que se cebaron con Xbox One. Con ese término.
The way it plays.
Y sin embargo es algo que se usó ya en 360.
When they unveiled the 360, I saw a very powerful console with a stunning interface, with a focus on being online, always connected. This was all stuff that they had sort of experimented with the original Xbox and Xbox Live, but now they were building it into the core experience of the console.
Xbox 360 was 5 to 10 times more powerful than the original Xbox. To achieve that, we had to push technology and solutions that didn't exist in the previous generation. We had to go explore things that had never been done.
As opposed to leveraging a lot of
La Xbox 360 salió muy pronto después de la Xbox original. La Xbox original salió en 2001 y la Xbox 360 salió en 2005. O sea, la Xbox original salió después que la PS2 y la 360 llegó un año antes que la PS3.
At the heart of the Xbox 360 are 3 IBM CPUs.
Lo hicieron brutal, ese movimiento lo hicieron brutal.
Whatever big wild dreams you had created in your head, we needed to create a leapfrog product that said, hey, this is even more powerful. This is the most powerful console on the planet. And so we evolved the Xbox from a powerful console that plays all the games you love to a console that connects you to all your friends and connects you to a lifestyle, this digital entertainment lifestyle.
We involved movies, we
Hostia,
got
Raúl.
content generated that you could access, music.
The magic in Xbox 360 is it does so much more than the original Xbox did.
Xbox 360 Guide, it is your launch pad to all of your digital entertainment.
Here you can store your pictures, videos, and music.
We've also added a new concept called achievements, sort of a record of everything you've accomplished across your entire library of games. With Xbox 360, we've created technology that will enable people from every age and every corner of the planet to gather together in new ways. A product with games at its core, surrounded by limitless, connected digital entertainment.
Everything we were trying to do had just never been done before.
We're really focusing hard
99, pero eso
on building
vale.
an online experience for Xbox around games.
Gaming was always first.
Ahí está.
But this was no longer just the ability for you to play a game online. This was breakthrough thinking.
We built Xbox 360 with a mission.
They showed it as a media hub in your living room. You could connect other devices to it. You could play your photos. You could do this, that, the other. They targeted a broad range of gamers. They were building this thing to be future-proof.
Microsoft's new Xbox 360 will be first to hit stores shelves.
Fíjate, hostia, las carcasas de enfrente que se pueden cambiar. Yo nunca lo cambié, por cierto, nunca lo cambié.
Where are you guys from?
We're from, well,
From Indianapolis, Indiana.
and Kansas City.
Los Angeles, Hollywood.
I came in from Minneapolis.
Land of Florida.
That's the only way to get it on the 360. You hear me? Hey, this is Xbox Live's Major Nelson. We're here at 0 Hour in the Mojave Desert. Hey guys, you ready to go?
Joder, Mayor Nelson, tío, está igual, ¿no? Siempre ha sido viejo. Ha sido siempre viejo.
0 Hour was this in-person fan experience in the desert in California. I was at G4 at the time, and I remember we got wind that they were just going to throw an epic party for Xbox fans.
This is Xbox 360. I'm hexed.
We had a hangar in the middle of nowhere and decked it out with hundreds of gaming stations.
Coño, si parece la hermana de... Parece la... ¿Cómo se llama, tío? La hermana de Ron Weasley. ¿Cómo se llama, coño? La de Harry Potter, coño. Parece ella de mayor.
And as the doors start to open, like the biggest doors you'd ever seen, you knew that you're about to run in to what would be the future of gaming.
And we basically said, hey, come here and you're going to be the first to play games, and we're going to sell you consoles here as well.
Thousands of gamers came, people that had met on Xbox Live that had never actually seen each other in person before. People were so happy. It was a magical launch event.
0 Hour event was a huge success, a massive celebration. We had so much pride in this product.
Was this a transcendent moment for you?
Oh, yes. The excitement generated in the desert spilled into the rest of the country as the console became available to the public on November 22nd, 2005.
I waited in line in like freezing rain for like 3 hours outside this Best Buy to try and get a slip so I could get an Xbox.
Esto, por ejemplo, estas cosas no se ven ahora. Estas cosas no se ven ahora tanto como antes, en los lanzamientos de la PlayStation 2, de Xbox, al principio con los Call of Duty. No se ve ahora tanto como antes. Antes era mucho más habitual. Yo creo que ahora no pasa tanto. Posiblemente por las facilidades que hay ahora para comprar a través de internet.
I start downloading games and I download Joust, Robotron, and Defender, and like all of a sudden everybody's having fun because these games are amazing, and I'm like, okay, we were sitting here at Grandma's house and we were bored, and I just got on the internet and downloaded games, and now we're playing video games and having fun. This is the future. This is the greatest thing in history, and this is what this console transition is about.
I can view my profile so I can see, you know, what games I've got, and it's got the whole achievement.
Nacieron los Xbox Live Arcade, los juegos arcade. Los juegos indie. Ahí nació el término indie, tío. Vamos, que yo sepa, nació ahí.
In the game, and that something is whatever the developer decided. Hey, did you scale this mountain? Did you open this door? Did you find this thing?
Somebody can play through the game, but if you wanted to really complete it, you had to get every achievement.
Let's get some ass.
Este es el, ¿cómo se llama? Este es el Most Wanted, o ese es el Most Wanted.
Why do you care? Because it's something that reminds me of all the time that I've had, all the games that I've played, all the I feel like I've accomplished something.
Actor y Xbox Gamer. No lo conozco.
Always online, always ready, with a stunning interface that ran on top of everything, and they came out guns blazing.
We had low price, with high def, with great games. And a product that was great. And so we felt we had a chance that generation.
Yeah, we were riding high, we were celebrating, morale was extremely high.
They had arrived. They had to gain the trust of developers, they had to make a statement with the gamers, they had to show that they belonged at this party, and the 360 was a beautiful iteration of all the lessons that they had learned with the original Xbox.
I think 360 was finally that moment that Jay and Seamus and everyone, you know, dreamed of.
Gamers were looking to see whether we would get it right this time, and we thought that we did. We needed to be seen as the start of the next generation, and this all needed to come together flawlessly. Unfortunately, that's not quite what happened.
El gran momento.
E74 error.
Dios.
Contact Xbox customer support.
Uno de los momentos más críticos.
In the forums,
por decir, el más crítico para...
Something wasn't right. I think there's something going on here.
The criticisms that we're reading about are coming from the games press, who are hearing from gamers who are saying, I'm having a problem with my box.
You feel the top of the Xbox, it's pretty hot.
We can hear retailers starting to say, there's an issue here.
With 360, Microsoft had built something amazing and special, but this problem was something that could kill the Xbox and all the work that they had done to get to this point.
Pero hablan de este tema, hablan en el siguiente capítulo. Ya seguimos mañana. Bien, vemos los 2 que faltan, los vemos mañana. Esto fue, si no fue el momento más importante, el tema de las luces rojas, si no fue el más importante, es de los 2 momentos más importantes que ha tenido Microsoft en lo que respecta a los videojuegos.